There are walls so vertical they seem to defy physics, granite faces that rise thousands of feet at 90 degrees or steeper, places where rock overhangs empty air, leaning out over nothing. And the best part? You can stand at their base, crane your neck back, and witness these impossible walls without ropes, without gear, without risking your life. Today, we're exploring the most dramatic vertical cliffs on the planet that you can actually visit. From accessible viewpoints to remote but reachable locations, these are the walls that redefine what straight up really means. Let's start with one of the most famous vertical faces on Earth, a wall that draws rock climbers from around the world but impresses every visitor who simply looks up. El Capitan, the vertical giant of Yosemite. Rising from the floor of Yosemite Valley in California, El Capitan presents a sheer granite face that has become the ultimate proving ground for rock climbers. The vertical height from base to summit measures approximately 3,000 feet or 914 meters. To put that in perspective, that's equivalent to stacking more than 2 Empire State Buildings on top of each other, all in a single continuous wall. What makes El Capitan extraordinary isn't just its height, it's the angle. The main face maintains an average angle of 90 degrees vertical for most of its height, with some sections like the nose route actually overhanging beyond vertical in places. Stand at the base looking up, and your eyes trace an unbroken sweep of granite that seems to go up forever, disappearing into the sky. The best observation point is from El Capitan Meadow, located directly across from the formation on the north side of Yosemite Valley. From here, roughly half a mile away, you get the full perspective of the wall's immensity. The meadow is accessible by a short, flat walk from multiple parking areas along Northside Drive. No hiking required, no special permits, just park and walk. For a closer experience, the trail to the base of El Cap starts near the 4-mile trail parking area. It's about a 2-mile round-trip hike, relatively easy, that brings you right to the granite wall where you can touch the rock and fully appreciate the scale. On any given day, especially in climbing season from April through October, you can spot climbers on the wall. They appear as tiny specks of color against the gray granite, sometimes hundreds of feet up, sometimes over 2,000 feet high. The best time to visit for optimal visibility is late spring through early fall, roughly May through October. Summer mornings offer crystal clear views before afternoon haze sets in. Winter can bring spectacular views after storms clear, with fresh snow highlighting every ledge and crack system on the wall. Photography is best in late afternoon when the setting sun illuminates the west-facing granite in warm golden light. What you're looking at is a single piece of rock. El Capitan is a massive granite monolith formed roughly 100 million years ago. The vertical face was carved and polished by glaciers during ice ages, leaving behind this sheer wall. The rock itself is so solid, so continuous, that climbers can spend days working their way up thousands of feet without ever leaving the wall. Just a few miles east of El Capitan, still within Yosemite Valley, stands perhaps the most recognizable cliff face in North America. Half Dome rises 4,737 feet or 1,444 meters above sea level, but its sheer northwest face drops nearly 2,000 feet in a single vertical sweep. That northwest face holds the distinction of being one of the largest areas of exposed vertical granite on Earth. The name tells the story. Half Dome looks exactly like someone took a complete dome-shaped mountain and sliced it perfectly in half, leaving a flat vertical face where the other half should be. Geologists believe that is not far from what actually happened, though the cutting was done by glacial erosion rather than a knife. The result is a wall that maintains approximately 93 degrees of angle for most of its height, slightly overhanging in places. The classic viewpoint is from Glacier Point, located on the south rim of Yosemite Valley. From here, 3,200 feet above the valley floor, you stand nearly level with the summit of Half Dome and can see the full profile of the face. The view is breathtaking. The sheer wall drops away into nothing, and you can trace every detail of the cliff's geology, every crack and ledge system that climbers follow to reach the top. Getting to Glacier Point is straightforward. From late spring through fall, roughly late May through October or November depending on snowfall, Glacier Point Road provides direct vehicle access. The viewpoint is a short walk from the parking area, fully accessible to visitors of all abilities. In winter, the road closes, but you can cross-country ski or snowshoe the 10.5 miles to reach it, transforming the experience into a backcountry adventure. For those in the valley, Mirror Lake offers another perspective. From the lake's shore in early morning when the water is still, you can see Half Dome's reflection perfectly doubled in the water, creating one of the most photographed scenes in all of American national parks. The walk to Mirror Lake is an easy 2-mile round trip from the shuttle stop. What makes Half Dome's wall so impressive is its consistency. Unlike many cliffs that have ledges, broken sections, or changes in angle, Half Dome's northwest face is relentlessly vertical for 2,000 feet. Climbers describe it as intimidating even by Yosemite standards, a wall that demands respect and perfect execution. The best visibility is similar to El Capitan, late spring through early fall, with morning light providing the clearest views. Late afternoon sun lights up the face dramatically, turning the gray granite orange and gold. After summer thunderstorms, waterfalls sometimes cascade down the face, adding movement to the stone giant. Trango Towers, the steepest big wall on Earth. From California's accessible valley, we travel to one of the most remote mountain ranges on Earth. The Karakoram of Pakistan, home to K2 and some of the world's most dramatic peaks, holds a cluster of rock towers that redefine vertical. The Great Trango Tower rises 20,623 feet, or 6,286 meters above sea level, but the number that matters is different. Its east face drops 4,396 feet, or 1,340 meters in a single sweep at angles exceeding vertical. This isn't just a vertical wall. The east face of Great Trango actually overhangs for much of its height, leaning out over empty space at angles reaching 105 degrees beyond vertical. Imagine standing at the base of a wall and looking up to see rock leaning out toward you, defying every instinct about how mountains should be shaped. That's Great Trango. The vertical drop from base to summit is one of the greatest on Earth. At 4,396 feet, the east face is taller than El Capitan by nearly 1,400 feet, and it maintains steeper angles throughout. Much of the wall hovers between 90 degrees and 95 degrees, with multiple sections pushing past vertical into true overhangs. For climbers, this is the ultimate challenge. For visitors, it's a sight that seems impossible even when you're looking directly at it. Getting there is the challenge. The Trango Towers sit in the heart of the Karakoram, accessed via the Baltoro Glacier. The standard approach begins in Skardu, the last major town, where you hire porters and arrange permits through the Pakistani government. From Skardu, it's roughly 8 to 10 days of trekking to reach the base of the towers. The route follows the Baltoro Glacier, one of the longest glaciers outside polar regions, passing beneath K2 and a parade of 8,000-meter peaks. You'll walk across rocky moraine, camp on glacier ice, and navigate terrain that changes daily as the ice shifts. This isn't a casual hike. It requires proper acclimatization to altitude, experienced guides, and the fitness to trek for a week at elevations above 10,000 feet. Preikestolen, the most famous vertical drop to water. From the Swiss Alps, we travel north to Norway, to the fjord country where some of Earth's most dramatic coastal cliffs plunge directly into the sea. Preikestolen, or Pulpit Rock, is a flat-topped cliff that rises 1,982 feet, or 604 meters directly above Lysefjorden. What makes this cliff remarkable isn't overhang or extreme angle. It's the fact that it's a sheer vertical drop straight down to deep water, and you can stand on top and look down. The cliff face itself is nearly perfectly vertical, maintaining approximately 90 degrees for its entire height. Stand at the edge, and there is nothing between you and the fjord below except 1,982 feet of empty air. The rock is granite, part of the ancient Precambrian bedrock of Norway, carved by glaciers that gouged out the fjord during the last ice age. The viewpoint is the cliff top itself. A relatively easy 4-mile round-trip hike leads from the trailhead at Preikestolen Mountain Lodge to the famous square platform. The trail gains about 1,100 feet in elevation, climbing steadily through forest and over granite slopes. The hike takes most people 2 to 4 hours round trip, depending on fitness and how long you spend at the top. Once on the platform, you can walk to the very edge. There are no railings, no barriers, nothing but rock and air. You can lie on your stomach, inch to the edge, and peer directly down the vertical face to the turquoise water of the fjord far below. Tour boats appear as toys. The sensation is surreal, standing on solid rock yet feeling like you could step off into nothing. Preikestolen is one of Norway's most visited natural attractions, drawing roughly 300,000 visitors per year. The best time to hike is from April through October, with June through August offering the warmest weather and longest daylight. Norwegian summer days this far north mean 20 hours of daylight, providing flexibility for timing your visit. For the best experience, go early or late in the day to avoid crowds. Sunrise hikes are spectacular, with the low sun illuminating the fjord and surrounding peaks. The platform can accommodate dozens of people, but early morning or evening visits often mean having the edge to yourself. The hike starts from Preikestolen Mountain Lodge, accessible by car from Stavanger or by ferry and bus during summer. The parking area requires a fee, and facilities including toilets and a cafe are available at the trailhead. The trail is well maintained and marked, suitable for anyone with moderate fitness. What sets Preikestolen apart is the combination of accessibility and drama. You can hike to one of the most spectacular viewpoints on Earth in half a day, stand at the edge of a true vertical cliff, and return to your car. The exposure is real. The drop is genuine, but reaching it requires no technical skill, just the willingness to hike. The Troll Wall, Europe's tallest vertical rock face. Just a few hundred kilometers north along the Norwegian coast, in the Romsdal Valley, rises the tallest vertical rock face in Europe. The Troll Wall, or Trollveggen in Norwegian, drops 3,600 feet or 1,100 meters at angles averaging between 90 and 105 degrees. Like Mount Thor, portions of the Troll Wall actually overhang, leaning out beyond vertical. The wall is part of the Trolltindin mountain range, a jagged collection of peaks that dominate the Romsdal Valley. The rock is gneiss, hard metamorphic rock that has been folded and compressed over millions of years, creating the dramatic vertical features that make the wall so imposing. From base to summit, the Troll Wall presents an almost unbroken sweep of gray and black rock. The face is so steep that snow and ice barely cling to it, except in the deepest winter. Even then, avalanches and rockfall constantly sweep the wall clean. The result is a face that looks freshly exposed, raw rock rising into the sky. The best viewpoint is from the valley floor, specifically from several pull-off areas along European Route E136 that runs through the Romsdal Valley. The road provides direct access, and you can park, step out of your car, and look up at the wall looming above. The perspective from the road is humbling. The wall seems to lean over the valley, and your neck strains to follow it to the summit. For a better angle, a short hike from the parking area at Trollveggen brings you closer to the base. The trail is approximately 1.5 miles round trip, relatively flat, crossing a river and approaching the wall through boulder fields. From here, the scale becomes overwhelming. The rock disappears into the sky, and you can hear the constant sounds of rockfall echoing off the face. The Troll Wall is accessible year-round by road, but the best viewing is from May through October, when weather is most stable and the valley is free of snow. Summer brings the midnight sun this far north, with nearly continuous daylight that allows for photography at unusual hours. The wall catches afternoon and evening sun, which brings out the texture and color of the rock. What makes the Troll Wall special is its European accessibility. You can drive a rental car from Åndalsnes, the nearest town, reach the viewpoint in 15 minutes, and stand beneath one of the steepest, tallest walls in the world without any hiking whatsoever. Yet the wall itself is as serious as any on this list. It has claimed lives, repelled attempts, and earned respect from climbers worldwide. Angel Falls, the world's tallest single-drop waterfall. From Norway's vertical rock, we travel to Venezuela to the Table Mountains of Canaima National Park. Here, rising from the jungle, are the tepuis, massive flat-topped mountains with vertical walls on all sides. And from the edge of one of these tepuis drops Angel Falls, the world's tallest waterfall at 3,212 feet or 979 meters, with an uninterrupted drop of 2,648 feet or 807 meters. The cliff from which Angel Falls drops is Aoyan Tepui, a table mountain roughly 270 square miles in area. The walls of the tepui are sandstone and quartzite, carved into vertical faces by millions of years of erosion. The waterfall itself plunges from the edge, falling so far that much of the water turns to mist before reaching the ground. The viewing experience for Angel Falls is unique on this list because you're not looking at dry rock. You're watching water fall nearly half a mile through open air, a spectacle that changes with season and weather. During the rainy season, from May through November, the falls are at their most powerful, sending tremendous volumes of water over the edge. During the dry season, December through April, the flow reduces to a trickle or sometimes stops entirely. Reaching Angel Falls requires a journey deep into Venezuelan wilderness. The adventure begins in Canaima village, a small settlement accessible by small aircraft from Ciudad Bolivar. From Canaima, visitors take a combination of motorized canoe trips up the Chirun River and hikes through jungle to reach the viewpoint at the base of the falls. The journey typically takes 4 to 6 hours depending on water levels, involving travel up rapids and through narrow gorges. The final approach includes a 1-hour hike through rainforest, crossing rivers and navigating slippery rocks. The reward is reaching the base of the falls, where you can stand in the spray and look straight up at water falling from the clouds. The best viewpoint is from this base position, where the full height of the falls is visible. On clear days, you can see the water leave the cliff edge, trace its path through the air, and watch it impact the rocks below. The mist creates rainbows on sunny days, and the sound is overwhelming, a constant roar that drowns out conversation. The best time to visit is during the rainy season, particularly June through November, when the falls are at their most impressive. The trade-off is that weather during this season is unstable, with frequent rain and clouds that can obscure the falls for days. Many visitors spend multiple days in the area waiting for clear weather. Organized tours from Canaima are essentially required, as the area is remote and navigation difficult. These tours typically include overnight camping near the falls, allowing for multiple opportunities to see the falls as weather and light change. Costs range from $200 to $400 per person for a 2 to 3 day trip, including transportation, guides, meals, and camping equipment. What makes Angel Falls extraordinary is the sheer height. This is not just the tallest waterfall in the world, it's nearly twice as tall as any other single-drop waterfall. The cliff itself, though not as steep or overhanging as some others on this list, is nonetheless a genuine vertical wall, nearly 3,000 feet high, visible from miles away when weather permits. What all these cliffs share is a quality that photographs can't fully capture and numbers can't completely convey. It's the feeling of standing small before something enormous, of craning your neck back until it hurts and still not seeing the top, of trying to comprehend that solid rock can rise that steeply, that far, that impossibly. El Capitan's 3,000 feet of granite teach you what vertical really means. Half Dome's northwest face shows you a wall so consistent in angle it looks artificial. Great Trango's overhanging east face seems to defy gravity itself, leaning out over nothing for over 4,000 feet. Mount Thor's 105-degree wall in the Canadian Arctic proves that beyond vertical isn't just a climbing term, it's physical reality. The Eiger's Nordwand reminds us that vertical walls can be deadly, beautiful, and accessible all at once. Preikestolen lets you stand at the edge of empty space with nothing but your own nerve for protection. The Troll Wall looms over a Norwegian valley like something from mythology made real. And Angel Falls shows that even water cannot rush down a vertical cliff. It must fall through air for half a mile before touching stone again. These are not just tourist attractions. They are geological extremes. the places where Earth's crust has been tilted, carved, and exposed into forms that push the boundaries of what seems possible. They are also remarkably accessible. You can see every one of these walls without technical climbing skills, without life-threatening risk, with nothing more than the willingness to hike, sometimes for days, to reach them. The next time you stand before a tall building and think it's impressive, remember that El Capitan rises higher and steeper than any skyscraper. When you see a cliff and think it looks vertical, remember Mount Thor leaning out past 105 degrees for 4,000 feet. These are the real extremes of vertical, the places where rock meets sky at angles that seem impossible even when you're staring at them. From California's accessible valleys to Pakistan's remote glaciers, from Norway's fjords to Venezuela's jungles, these walls wait to humble anyone who stands before them. They are proof that Earth can create forms more dramatic than anything human engineering has achieved, and that sometimes the most extraordinary sights require nothing more than the willingness to show up and look up. Thanks for watching. Which of these vertical giants would you most want to see in person? Let me know in the comments below.